Hello and welcome to the MarketingMonday.com live podcast. My name is Dean Jackson, and today I've got another video for you, and we're going to talk about an amazing process for converting leads. I'm going to share 7 great tips with you on how to convert more leads. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1, the very best thing we can do to convert more leads is to begin with the end in mind. Now, when I talk about converting leads, a lot of times people have the mindset that converting leads means converting leads into money, into transactions, and that's ultimately where we're headed. But the very next step is something that we can actually focus on, which is converting those leads into appointments. So for our exercise here, our interpretation of conversion is turning people into appointments, because we know that if you can convert a lead into an appointment, once you start working with people, it's pretty easy for you to take it all the way through to turning that into a transaction. So our conversion goal, if we're going to begin with the end in mind, is that we're going to convert a lead into an appointment. Now, the very best place we can start is number 2, to start with what you've got. Now, this is where I want you to go back into your desk drawers, onto your calendar blotter, into your Daytimer, into your BlackBerry, your email box, your sofa cushions, all of the places where you collect those leads from open house registries and everywhere where you write down the name and the email address and the phone number, perhaps, of anybody who's come into your world in the last 6 months, the last 12 months, the last 18 months. Gather them all up. And what you're going to realize is that all of those names and email addresses of people who at one point in your past were looking for a home are now going to be very, very valuable to you. So once you gather up all of those names, all of the people who at one point told you they might be looking for a house in your area, we're going to send them the amazing 9-word email that revives dead leads. Now, if you look in the archives at Marketing Monday, you'll find an entire podcast devoted to the amazing 9-word email that revives dead leads, and you can take a look and listen to that. But here's what you need to know about the amazing 9-word email. All we're going to do is we're going to send them an email with their name in the subject line. So if you were sending it to me, it would say Dean, and then these 9 words. Are you still looking for a house in Georgetown? That's it. That's all we want in that email. Now, I know that the temptation is going to be for you to want to complete that thought. You're going to want to say, are you still looking for a house in Georgetown? Because if you are, blah, 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 I can set you up on our automated search process. I can do this. I can do that. You're going to want to give a reason for asking the question. And the truth is that not giving a reason is the reason that people will respond to that email. See, our minds, just the same way that your mind almost can't, you have to force yourself to go against your natural instinct to want to complete that thought. Our minds, when we receive an email like that, trigger that exact same thinking process. We cannot bear to have an unsolved mystery. So this is almost like planting what I've come to call this like a mind bomb, where you plant that thought in somebody's mind, and if they are indeed looking for a house in Georgetown, they're going to want to know why. They're going to want to know why you've asked them that. And so what we look for is, how can we just send out an email like that that's short, personal, expecting a reply, and just be patient and wait for the replies. If you send an email like this to a group of people that have come into your realm in the last 6, 12, 18 months, you're going to be amazed at how many people will respond, even if it's just with one word, to say yes, because they want to know the answer. They want to know the mystery, and we'll be able to take it from there. Number 3, generate pre-sorted leads. One of the best ways that you can convert leads is to know what type of leads you're generating, to know where they're headed. If you can generate a better, higher quality, and by higher quality I mean more focused, more specific type of lead, it's going to be better for you. See, most of the time our natural tendency is to want to cast a wide net and generate leads that are looking for a home anywhere that we can help somebody. So that's why you see things like people advertising that they can help you in Northern California or South Florida or the Tri-County area. And that, you think, is what you want. You want to help people in any of those areas, but what you're unwittingly doing is you're attracting a person who is not narrowly focused. And there's no excuse for it now with the internet, with the ability for us to generate leads for a very specific type of buyer. It makes all the sense in the world to focus our attention on generating a better lead. See, a person looking for a home in Northern California is not as focused as a person looking for a townhouse in Berkeley, or somebody looking for a house in South Florida is not as specific as somebody looking for a mansion in Palm Beach. So you have the opportunity to really narrow your focus and pre-sort your leads right from the beginning. An example I often use is, imagine that you were looking for chocolate cake and you walk into a grocery store and every aisle, as far as you can see, is labeled food. Now, the truth is, it's accurate, but it's not very helpful. See, imagine if the food manufacturers, the chocolate cake makers and the ice cream makers and the dairy product makers, if they all had the attitude that, well, it's really, we want to attract the bigger category of food, where we are food, then it wouldn't be very easy for you to identify and find exactly what you want. Now imagine if you walked into that same grocery store and you're looking for chocolate cake, and all of a sudden you see one aisle off in the distance that says chocolate cake. Where are you going to head? You're going to head straight to the chocolate cake aisle because that's exactly what you're looking for. It's no different with people who are looking for a home in your area. They're going to head directly to the Palm Beach mansion department if that's what they're looking for, or they're going to head straight to the Berkeley townhouse department. See, people who are the very best leads are focused and know what they want. So be the solution to the problem that they're trying to solve. That's one of the very best ways that you can convert more leads, is knowing what they want ahead of time. Number 4, focus on 5-star prospects. Now, we've talked a lot about 5-star prospects, but a 5-star prospect is basically somebody who's willing to engage in a dialogue, meaning they're willing to talk to you. They will respond to your email, or they will pick up the phone when you dial the phone. Number 2, they're friendly and cooperative, meaning that they're a joy to talk to. They're not short, they're not curt, they're not rude, they're not trying to get you off the phone, they're not withholding, they're friendly and cooperative. They know what they want, meaning they've got a plan and they're willing to tell you all about it. They've got a plan for exactly what they want. They're moving in the next 6 to 18 months. And I say 6 to 18 months, and that's going to be a big competitive advantage for you over all of your competitors who are only willing to work with people who are looking to buy in the next 6 to 18 days. And number 5 is that they would like us to help them. If you've got all 5 of those requirements, if you've got all 5 of those things, that is exactly who we're looking for. The truth is that you cannot convert a 4-star prospect into a 5-star prospect. You can only discover who the real 5-star prospects are. And the only way you do that is by connecting with them and having enough sort of acuity to recognize when somebody meets these 5 requirements. Just think about it. Which one of these 5 would you be willing to give up? Now, when we look at the 5-star prospects, what we're really looking for are, where can we spend our time and our effort to get the highest possible return on that investment. And I'm going to illustrate this by laying out a little quadrant for you here. Now, if we instead of thinking about one specific lead, let's think about things scientifically in a statistically valid sampling of 100 leads. Let's say that you've generated 100 leads. Now, there's been all kinds of research and studies done on the propensity of leads to convert into sales, and one of the best studies and the best statistics done on this is found that over 18 months, just over half of the people who inquire about something will buy that something in the next 18 months. So if we look at this, if we look at the vertical axis here, the top half and the bottom half, we know for sure that if we take a bundle of 100 leads, that half of them are going to buy and half of them are not going to buy. There's only two possible outcomes if we go out 18 months. Yes, they're going to buy, or no, they're not going to buy. Now, if we take this horizontal axis, what we're looking at here is that there's only really two possibilities of what's going to happen with those people who are going to buy. They're either going to buy now, and let's call now the next 90 days, or later, which is more than 90 days from now. So if we look at this, if we look and put these leads into quadrants, we're going to eliminate half of them right away because we know that half of them are not going to buy. So we'll put X's in those two quadrants because if they're not going to buy now, they're not going to buy later. Doesn't matter. 18 months from now, half of the people who inquire are not going to buy. So that leaves us with 50 people who are going to buy. But what these statistics also show us is that of the people who are going to buy, 15% of them will buy within the next 90 days, where 85% of them will buy within 18 months. So the real value is 85% of that bundle of people who are going to buy a home in the next 18 months, 85% of them are going to buy later. Now that, you may not wish that to be true, but it is true. And if you set up all of your systems in place to heavily weight your opportunities in bonding with those people who are going to buy later, there's an 85% chance that you are going to be correct. If we were in Las Vegas and you were only able to put your chips on one of these quadrants, the later quadrant would be the one that would pay you the biggest dividends. Now, when we look at it, it's similar to looking at an iceberg. You know what we're seeing here? We're seeing just the very tip of the iceberg, and that's the people who are going to buy now. That's what everybody is chasing because they're visible, and everybody is trying to jump on the people who are going to buy right now. But the real bulk of the iceberg is below the surface. So we've got 15% up at top, and 85% of the value of that bundle of leads, that lead iceberg, is below the surface, 90 days or more away. Number 5, always lead to the next step. And that's very important when you are communicating with people. It's very crystal clear that you want people to know what the next step is. And that's what I'm going to do with you today. I want you to tune in next week for the exciting conclusion of 7 ways to convert more leads. And we'll pick up right here where we left off.